And I would request Mr. Puneet Sharma from Chandigarh University to please join us on stage.
एक और मैम के लिए एक और बुके जल्दी से एक फुलकारी और
We now request Dr. Trishu and our festival director Rajesh Sharma ji to please present the bouquet to Kaveri ma'am as well. All right, with this we will leave on to Kaveri ma'am and Rakul. I'm sure people are waiting to hear to you. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. I'm going to keep this bit of Punjab on me. Thank you very much. I love your work. Fulkari is one of my favorite kinds of embroidery. Rakul, it's such a pleasure to have you. You're a bit of Chandigarh, a bit of Delhi, and a whole lot of India. Talk a little about that, because you're an army kid, so you've traveled all over, and you were just telling me you changed 10 schools.
That's right.
In your schooling. So talk a bit about being a little bit of everything, but being a Sardarni still.
Sure. First, let me say hello to everybody. Hi, thank you so much. Thank you for all the cheers and a warm welcome. I'm super excited and happy to be here doing this discussion amongst all of you. So coming back to your question, yes, I changed 10 schools, and that of course includes my nursery and preschool, because 10 as a number sounds great. But I think whenever somebody asks me where are you from, I always say India.
Yeah.
Because I can never really decide which place I'm from, because I think I get a little bit from everywhere. There's so many cultures that I've been exposed to, so many areas, whether it's the northeast or the south of India or the heart of India or Punjab. So I feel I'm an Indian at heart, and of course a Sardarni is always a Sardarni.
Yeah.
So I think whenever
some applause for that. Come on, Chandigarh.
Chandigarh.
She's one of yours.
So whenever people are like, you can't be a foodie, I'm like, you cannot tell a Sardarni I'm not a foodie. Of course I'm a foodie.
Of course.
So those Sardarni genes are there very highly. So yeah.
Yeah. So what I find amazing in you, Rakul, is that you possibly discovered the South much before the rest of India discovered South with Pushpa and RRR and Bahubali. You've acted with every major star there is in the South, and sometimes even their fathers, like Ramcharan and Chiranjeevi in the same film, right?
Yeah, Chiranjeevi sir was just a special appearance. Yes.
But that was fun. But talk a bit about being.
Guys,
no,
come
don't
on.
do
Yeah.
that. We can still hear each other, and we
You
can
don't have
talk.
to see. It's
Yeah.
a hearing medium.
Just listen. So, what it was about the southern industry, especially Telugu industry, that drew you to them, and the kind of discipline they have and the kind of work they do. What was it that you found exciting about it?
So, to be honest, I didn't really know the scale of the South Indian industry or the Telugu industry before I started working there. I was in my first year of college when I happened to get my first film, and it was a call that came because they saw my pictures somewhere, and I first refused because I was like, I'm going to work in Hindi. I didn't know that South industry was really big. And then they said that, anyway, they convinced me, and I thought, oh, I'll make some great bucks and I'll be the first one in my friends to have a car. So that was my first brush with acting. But when I started working there, I just loved the environment, the kind of respect they gave you. And as an outsider, you always hear that, this industry is difficult,
It's
or
a
people
struggle.
are nice,
Yeah.
But the first day on set, someone is calling an 18-year-old ma'am, and and I was like, wow, they are such good people, and everything was taken care of, and there were good work hours. Like, so I really enjoyed the experience of that first film, and I was like, great, I'm going to finish my college and then explore more films. When I moved to Bombay, that film happened to release. I started getting a lot of Telugu offers, and by then I started reading up that the industry is really huge.
Yeah.
And since the time of 70s and 80s, there are a lot of remakes being made, and so many actors, and Devi ma'am or Tabu ma'am, they've all come from the South Indian industry. And then I said, okay, great, if I'm getting some work, let me start doing it. So my first film was a relatively like a smaller film, but it became a huge success, and that's what led me to sign way more films and work with all the stars. And it was
from
just
junior NTR
from NTR to Charan. I've done 2 films with Charan, and then Mahesh Babu, Allu Arjun. So I've worked with everyone, and I think I attribute who I am today to the Telugu film industry, because the kind of discipline they follow, even like I was coming to work hours, they follow a 9 to 6 work shift.
Right.
So unlike Bombay, which is 9 to 9.
Or 9 to whenever.
Or sometimes if you don't finish, it goes like you stretch by an hour and a half. But there are really strict rules in the South industry, because I think that's very important, because you get that evening 2-3 hours to yourself, which is important to disconnect from your work and get back to the reality of who you are, because otherwise life can become quite monotonous and strenuous, and which is why I feel that the pressures in Bombay are way more, because it's just never ending. That cycle just keeps going on when you're shooting. So hugely disciplined, very, very creative, not a lot of paraphernalia around shooting a film. It's basically what you are creating that they pay more attention to, which is great. And I think that's what made me who I am. So it's just nicer that way.
And you were probably the only Miss India pageant sort of contestant who carried her books with her to the pageant. I don't know if many of you know, but she's a maths graduate. Maths. Something that I have always found impossible. And she was a whiz at it, and she says, I mean, I'm good with numbers,
No, that's what
Very
I thought.
Casual.
That's what I thought when I took up maths honors, that I loved maths in high school. Little did I know that college level maths was not all that easy. There was a lot of theory to maths.
Yeah, but your favorite is trigonometry, which I can never understand.
I really liked calculus. At that point, now I only use numbers to count my calories, I think. And that's the only place I use numbers.
You do that very well. But talk a bit about education, I think, and, its value. And even if it's just academic education, it gives you a certain rigor to your thinking. And I think it's important for young people to know that, because it's great to be in the movies, but you need to have something. You need to build your character.
Yes, I completely agree, and I'll share what we were just talking about with everyone, that when I did my first film, I was 18, I was in first year of college, and I fell really short of attendance. And
Sorry, I want to interrupt you here, because when she says college, it's Jesus and Mary College, whose cutoff was 93%.
Yes.
Which he got.
Yes. So I
think some applause for that is required.
Wow. I don't think I can score that now. So JMC, I was in JMC, which was a very, very strict college, sister run, and so I fell short of attendance, and I remember my dad telling me that if you want to be an actor and that's your passion, then from my side, I don't have a problem if you shift to correspondence. But I was the one who said, no, I'm not going to do that, because life is really uncertain. I might desire or dream to be in a certain place, but I also have to be sensible enough to have backup in place, and which is what stands for all of you all who are young students. I mean, we all aspire, but so do thousands and millions of people in our country, and there are just very few who crack it. So for me, it was very important. I just knew one thing when I, ever since I was a kid, I don't know what I'm going to do, but whatever I do, I am not going to struggle. That is what I used to tell my parents. So वो बच्चे होते हैं ना कि आप क्या बनोगे? So people used to have answers, and I used to say I'm not going to struggle. I'm going to do well at whatever I do. So that's the reason I needed my backup of education, and I'm telling you, it's not that the textbook knowledge really, it may come handy or may not, but what really happens is that you become more practical in life, and education shapes your personality, because the kind of person that you become, if you've studied, if you've gone to a good college, if you have that exposure, it helps you deal with situations in life in a better way. You know, not necessarily that chapter from a certain book, but subconsciously it just shapes you into a personality that can deal with life better, is more settled in the head, the mental faculty is working. So I just feel it gives you a little more edge over other people, and yeah, that's why it's important.
So, for you also to get into the pageant business, and what were you, Miss Beautiful Smile, Miss Beautiful, what all were you?
So I had won 5 titles, which I think only I hold like 5 titles, which were
I know Miss
Beautiful
Beautiful
Eyes, Miss Beautiful Smile, Miss Talented, which I did a Bharatanatyam performance for, and then Miss India People's Choice, and Fresh Face.
Wow.
Yeah, Fresh Face.
Well done. But
Thank you.
we've got a lot of fans. But you knew that you also at the same time were trying to crack CAT and taking your SAT exam.
Yeah, all backups.
All backups.
So I am a multitasker.
Huh.
Even now, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't do just one thing in a day. I
Right.
love to do multiple things, and I don't know, it gives me some sort of a high if I've done too many things. I like to overachieve. I was a golfer in high school. I used to play nationals.
Really?
Yes, I used to play nationals in high school of golf. And then I always knew that this is something I'm doing in a competitive field, because that sort of competition just helps you train your mind in a way that helps you in your life
Right.
ahead, right? Like, I mean, today I don't get affected or stressed by a box office success or failure. And this is all how you train your mind,
Yeah.
by doing different competitive things in different stages. So, and that's also a credit that goes to my parents, who were, who put me in different activities and made sure that I'm giving exams of everything. Like, if I'm singing, uska bhi exam de diya. You know, you're doing Bharatanatyam, give exams for that also. So literally everything. So I'm so used to multitask since then. So I used to always think that's the reason, like, I want to give my CAT if I don't crack. And I'd
Right.
given myself 2 years when I moved to Bombay in 2011, that if I crack it in 2 years, great. And if I don't, then at least I have my graduation. I can always do my master's later.
Right.
So I just wanted to see where I stand, to be not delusional. Sometimes we all think that we are great and life is unfair to us. But it's very difficult to know your weaknesses and work towards them. So I wanted to know my weakness and strength, and I wanted to know where I truly stand and not just in my head. And that's the reason I wanted to give my CAT and my SAT. So I had a good score in SAT. I could have gotten anywhere. And then I was like, theek hai, abhi isko side mein rakh do. I'm going to Bombay. And then later, if I ever want to do, I know that I can depend on this.
Right.
It's not like I poorly failed and I'm like, ab kya karenge life mein?
So you were what, all of 20, 21 when you moved to Bombay? You
20.
Didn't, 20. You didn't know anyone?
No.
Your parents were brave enough and supportive enough?
They were very supportive.
Yeah.
And we knew there was actually this one lady who was also an army officer's wife, who's also from Amritsar. So they sort of knew her in Bombay.
Right.
And so they, my house, we got a apartment for me in Kandivali, very close to her house.
Right.
So she was a huge support, and that's why my parents could leave me in Bombay, that okay, auntie is there. Fauji hai, Punjabi hai, jante hain, chalo theek hai. If there's anything emergency, then at least she's there. So I was just like a minute away from her, and that was a huge support system. And yes, my parents used to talk to me 4 times a day that everything is okay initially. My mom used to travel with me initially,
Right.
for all my shoots. And then slowly, once it was 2-3 years in the industry, once, people knew me, and then they got used to it, so they left me on my own.
But you always took your own decisions when it came to work. Did you
When
trust
it came
your
to work, yes,
instinct?
instinct.
Instinct.
I still discuss with my parents
Yeah.
though, but I think the final call remains with me. But I believe in a healthy discussion because there are times that you get stuck. There are times that I'm confused, and there are times I've sent scripts to my dad saying, what do you think as an audience? Just to sort of
Right.
bounce off ideas. So I do discuss with my parents very openly. This is what I'm doing. I'm really kicked about it. So then they also give their feedback. So we have, touchwood, a very beautiful communication gateway there, where we can talk about anything and discuss, and that's very important. And I think for all the parents here, I'm sure most of the teachers would be parents, or you guys would be future parents. I think it's very important for parents to support the child.
Yeah.
Not say कि अच्छा ड्रीम ठीक है पहले तू पढ़ ले, पढ़ाई भी ज़रूरी है, but then give them that equal support even in their dreams, so that they also trust you that you're supporting them both ways.
Right. But Bombay is a cruel place,
Yes.
isn't it? It's a very hard and very tough place. There are millions of people who you think are better looking, are probably better at acting, and yet, you made it. And it must have been thousands. Were there thousands of auditions? Were there
Yeah.
days when you thought, I'm going back?
No, I never thought I'm going back.
Right.
No, I think there are two ways of looking at things. I was really naive when I started out. I was very innocent, and and especially in army cantonments, you are in a very protected
Yeah.
environment. So my parents' biggest worry was she's going into this big bad world of Mumbai,
Yeah.
which is a city that doesn't rest. Will she be okay? And their constant thing used to be like, you don't know public dealing yet, you are too this thing. But that naiveness helped me, because in my head I thought, if I'm working hard, I'll get it. So, everything you say today, when you hear the Sadgurus or the meditation, all these people talking about your belief or giving out a manifestation, in my head, I had already manifested कि hard work करो, hard work से सब मिलता है.
Right.
So I used to work hard every single day.
Yes, good. I'm glad you applauded at that.
Thank you. And I still do. And, I just felt at that time, I'll tell you, when I was in my auditioning years of the first 2 years, I would drive. I had this Ritz car, which I got from that first film. So I used to drive, and all my car would have all sorts of clothes, like, one corporate look, one Indian look, one
Acha.
short dress, ki kabhi bhi koi bhi audition aa jayegi. I used to stay in Kandivali in Bombay, which is about an hour from Bandra, and I used to drive to Bandra to work out, because the best trainer was there.
Right.
So I used to train with him, and then I used to wait, get ready, some call will happen, some audition. Then I used to stand in those Aram Nagar lines and audition, and that was an everyday routine.
Every single day.
Every day. And I used to leave home in the morning at 9. I used to get back at 6, 7 in the evening. Sometimes just sit in my car. Sometimes, if I had that extra money, I would be in the cafes, having coffee and waiting for calls. Sometimes there would be a lot of meetings and auditions. But I just knew, I think somewhere it was like, in my head, I just knew, नहीं effort तो करना ही पड़ेगा ना, कि without effort you're not going to get anything. So I used to just constantly keep doing that, and I think God was kind, and things just worked out in a way that I saw result. And even when I saw result, it was a very upward journey for me. I didn't have my first launch in the South also in like a big budget film or a big star. It was a smaller film which became big, and I just feel that people who help themselves, God helps them. So
well said.
Yeah.
But talk a little about the process of auditions, because it's hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sometimes you have what, 2, 3 a day. How many auditions did you do? Were there people who said, you're not this, you're not that?
Yeah.
What are the worst
Yeah,
things
people
even?
can say, I think my belief was, okay, you don't like me, but it's okay. It's not important for you to like me. I love me.
You're like the Geet of Jab We Met.
I really was. I
You
remember
were like
this-
Geet.
There was this one person who, I won't name, but there was this one casting director, very senior, who had told me, and I was shortlisted for one of the roles, and she said, you're great, you're acting well and all that, but I feel that you have a very generic face. So now I was a very muffat, as in very honest, I don't know how to play games, right? So I said, हाँ but अभी यही है.
what to do.
So what to do now? So she wanted to, like, you know, I mean, if there was someone else in my place, I know a lot of people could have gotten demotivated.
Yeah.
Oh my God, she doesn't like me. But I don't think we need people's validation for our belief in ourselves.
Well said, well said. I agree.
Yeah.
But it takes a lot of mental toughness to be
I think that
that.
goes to my dad.
Yeah.
He grew me up like a boy only, literally. कि मतलब, you know, दोनों फौजी पिट्ठू डाल के ट्रेनिंग कराओ इनकी. Literally, both of us were brought up, me and my brother, that, you know, you are not going to, if somebody said something to us as kids and we cried, it's like, you are not going to cry. You have a voice. You can go and speak, or you can share your problem with us. You're not going to be a weak one. So I think that tutoring in my head ever through my childhood helped me be very confident. So I know I came to Bombay only with confidence and belief in myself. Nothing else, not even one contact. I used to message constantly. So people told me, be shameless, reach out to people, be shameless. So obviously casting directors won't reply because they would also get so many messages in a day. So if you are sending like one message every day, then they're like, ye to picha hi nahi chhod rahi, isko bula lo. You know, so literally it was that scenario. And I think Miss India also helped me a little because I was not an absolute newcomer, so because I made the shift to the city in the same year, people knew, acha, theek hai, she's a Miss India contestant, at least let's meet her, you know, and I got that first meeting. But yeah, I still keep messaging people all the time because I think you have to be hungry for work. A lot of people, a lot of you who are aspiring might be thinking that once you do some films, it all comes easy. No, my friend, the COVID has made everything more difficult. Theaters are going through a completely different scenario. Now every actor's again sitting, rediscussing, reaching out to makers. What are the kind of films you are doing? What are you doing? What is working? So it's a constant work in progress. So the fight was different that time and the fight is different now, but there always is a fight.
Right. So what was the shift, in a way, the return to Mumbai, in a way? Because you were so successful there. I think you had a home in Hyderabad. You speak Telugu. I can't imagine, but you speak it and you understand it, and you were doing so well. What sort of sparked the idea to return to Mumbai, in a way?
So, actually, my first film was Yariyan. Which was
Divya
yes,
Khosla,
which was that Blue Hai Pani film. So that was my first film. That was actually the first audition I cracked also in Bombay. It was actually my third film audition, which they called me back after 6 months, and then I realized, I've signed this film. So while I was doing that film, that first film in college, which was a South film, had released, and I started getting offers from Telugu. So I was always a person like, kaam karte raho. Good work will get you more work. I didn't have people telling me to position myself a certain way, wear these designers, wear these clothes, talk like this. So everything I learned was on the job. When I look back at my interviews back then, I'm like, oh no.
Why?
I'm like, how am I dressed? You know, because there was obviously no training of how to be. But I think that's the most beautiful part because you're learning everything
there
by
was
yourself.
No stylist who's telling you what to wear.
No, because I learned that there were stylists when I was promoting Yariyan. And that time also there's affordability that comes into play, you know. So there are a lot of challenges. I mean, I never took money from my parents. I wanted to do it all by myself. So I did that film. And that released 3 months before Yariyan released. Yariyan took a year to release, and as soon as I finished shooting for it, I started shooting for my first film in Telugu. Because that released before and became a hit, like I told you, I started getting a lot of offers. So I signed everything. And because I was naive, I thought when I was in Bombay and Telugu called me, I'm here, they'll call me when they want me. I didn't know you have to be in Bombay to get work in Bombay. My whole energy was towards working every day, making some money. I was like, I should just keep working and people will spot me, they will find me. So then, before I knew, I just settled in Hyderabad. You know,
Right.
year by year, this went going on, and I did some, God knows, 25, 30 films.
I made a lot of friends.
Made a lot of friends. The industry really, like I said, that made me who I am. And then I realized I have a house in Bombay, but I've been in a hotel for 2 years in Hyderabad. Let me just, be here because I had no intention at that point of going back to Hindi. I wasn't even meeting people. I was very happy because this kind of stardom that you get,
Yeah,
it's crazy. It's so much love that even today, I mean, I miss that love. The kind
Did
of
you have a name like Power Star, Icon?
Hyperstar.
Hyperstar. Because everyone
They used
has
to call
a name,
me,
right?
all my fan groups used to call me Hyperstar.
That's perfect for you.
Yeah, I don't know how they cracked that. So anyway, so I wasn't really looking at it. I was in Hyderabad, I was working there, and I think the industries are somewhere connected, and people then see who's doing the kind of work. Like today, how the masses are also following, acha South mein ye actors hai. Industry always knows. So when I was doing the bigger round of films and things like that, I got a call for Dhoni. I was supposed to do MS Dhoni, and then their dates changed because Sushant's hair length, there was some problem, and I was shooting for a film with Charan at that point, which was going.
Which part were you going to play in Dhoni?
The
hotel-
Disha Patni's part.
Oh.
And so we'd done everything.
That would have been nice.
Yeah, so we'd done everything. We'd logged costumes, shoot dates, but they shifted by a month. And my dates were blocked. I was shooting abroad. I couldn't change. So then I was like, chalo, theek hai. I cried. I was like, oh no, but it's okay. Never mind. Then after a year, Neeraj Pandey called me again and he said, updates degi. So he was doing Ayari.
Right.
So that's when I came back with Ayari. While I was shooting Ayari, I signed De De Pyar De. Because you're in Bombay, people meet you. And then when I signed De De Pyar De, and while I was filming that, I realized that this is a great role. And also...
And it was fun.
It was fun. It was cheeky, fun,
and
young,
Tabu
and great star cast for me.
And Ajay Devgan.
And to have a role at par with two of them. And when that film did well, I just started getting a great response in a certain sense. And I just decided that I think I should move my base to Bombay because it's a new playground. Because where's the growth for me now? Because I've worked with everyone in Telugu. I was there for a couple of years. I'm only going to be obviously doing better films, but working in a similar space. So if I want to grow and experience more in life, I will have to take that risk. So it was honestly a huge decision that time in my life to leave a stardom of certain size.
And comfort. The comfort
and
of
the
that.
comfort. And I think the bigger is stardom because that you get addicted to it in a certain sense. You like when, I mean, sorry, but you like it when people recognize you and people know you. So when I was shooting for De De Pyar De, that wasn't the case in Bombay yet. But then I was like, you know what? You started with nothing and it's okay to take that plunge. And now I'm in a position that even if I'm away from Telugu for a year, I've done enough work where I can always come back.
Right.
So I can do this for myself, for my growth. And I took that decision and I think it's been great. So 2 years after that, then lockdown happened and all of that happened. But then last year, all the films came out. And
and so many of them.
Yeah,
so you no longer have the Ritz. I hope your car has...
Of course not.
What is the car now?
Now I have a Merc.
Nice.
Yeah.
See, if you work hard, you move from a Ritz to a Merc in what? How many years?
I had an Audi before this.
Okay.
So I got that right after Yariyan. So 2014.
And these things matter, no? I mean, we all say money doesn't matter, but at some point, there is a certain lifestyle that you have to support.
So I'll tell you what. I was reading this, I was seeing this social media snippet of Shah Rukh sir, where he said that, I don't know if you all have seen it, where he said that everybody who gives gyan of money doesn't matter, has a lot of money and then gives gyan.
We've all seen it.
So I think, of course, money is important, but there's also, at what cost
Yeah.
are you making that money? Are you sleeping peacefully? Because honestly, I believe that you may make that 1 CR you make, or you make 5 CR. उससे ऊपर खर्चा आप नहीं करने वाले हो. So you
Yeah.
can manage a comfortable lifestyle with even making a little lesser as long as you're sleeping peacefully. So for me, I'm not someone who's so crazy about making money that I want to have a private jet. No, I don't want. I don't want stress of the taxation of the jet, you know, that it's parked somewhere. I want to be able to live my life and want to be able to be free. And free-spirited and travel and grow and be comfortable and not stress. I feel sometimes when people have a lot of money, there's also a lot of stress that comes along with it. How to save that money. So I don't want that stress.
That's where the maths helps.
No, I think I just want, like, you should have that much money that you can live your life peacefully,
Right.
gratefully, and follow your passion.
Right. So in Bombay now, I think even the roles that you're doing are much more meaningful than perhaps women did get earlier. I mean, all the roles that you've done actually have a profession.
Yeah.
Which in itself is a big thing. But talk about the way roles for women are changing, and people like you are choosing to do that and powering that change.
So I think, you know, back in the 90s or the 80s, the roles were fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, this,
You know,
the Zeenat
look
Amans
at
and the...
Zeenat Aman and Nargis ji or Meena
Of course, that is
Kumari and
even
Sridevi
earlier.
ma'am, Tabu ma'am,
You
Kajol.
played Sridevi in a film, right?
Yes,
In Junior
yes,
NTR's
yes,
film.
yes.
What was that experience like?
It was a special appearance for NTR's biography
Of his grandfather, yeah.
of his father, and it was really special. I mean, you know, to do something just to be coined in the same
Yeah.
sentence as someone who's a legend
Yeah.
is a big thing in itself. And I remember when the poster came out introducing Rakul as Sridevi for that, and I was like, wow, you know, it's just
Yeah.
utna hi kafi hai. You know, there cannot be another Sridevi.
Right.
You can make your own version of, you know, there can be another Rakul, but, you know, your own version, but you can't really be a Sridevi.
So we were talking about, the roles that existed for women earlier.
So I feel the roles were amazing at that time, and then something happened in the 2000s where the roles like went really haywire. And now again we're really back with great scripts, and at least we're trying to experiment and do newer stuff, like actors like Shefali Shah or Tapsi or Tabu ma'am. I mean, look at the kind of roles they are getting. It's amazing, and that's because the audience is also evolving. Cinema is always reflective
Yeah.
of the kind of audience watching the films. So it's a great space to be, honestly, and I feel that as a female actor, the number of scripts that we're getting today that you can headline yourself, that you are headlining, and you're
that
not
you're the
that you
hero.
are the hero of the film, or you're the heroine of the
Yeah.
film. Why should we need
Yeah.
to be a hero? So you're the actor heading the film.
Right.
I think is way more than ever before. Also because there's an audience for it.
Yeah.
You know, those films have seen success. So you see younger actors like Bhumi is doing some great work,
Yeah.
Tapsi is doing some great work. Even I loved Mimi that Kriti did.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it's great. I mean, there's still a long way to go, but it's great.
Are you all friends?
Sorry?
Are you all friends? Do you sometimes hang out?
I am everyone's friend. I believe that in my head.
So,
I'm very good friends with Bhumi.
Yeah.
Because we're also working on a film together.
right,
Yeah.
I believe so.
Yes.
And you're also doing a film with Kamal Hassan, my God. Indian
That's
too?
Indian too, yes. Hindustani
Yeah,
too.
that must be an experience.
Kamal sir is an institute in himself.
He can dance, he can act, he can direct.
But he's playing Hindustani, na? So
Huh.
now in this film he is older than that Hindustani.
okay.
So he has a lot of prosthetic on his face.
Right.
So I'm paired opposite Siddharth, the Chennai Siddharth. So the younger couple is me and Siddharth, and then there's Kamal sir, who's this Hindustani.
Right.
So his prosthetic takes 5 hours.
Wow.
And you wouldn't believe me, he used to come on set at 5:30 so that he can be ready by 11:30 for his first shot. So they would start with us, then he'd be ready, then pack up at 6, then 2 hours to remove that. And that man does that even now in that Chennai heat where he would be sweating under the prosthetic, but he does it so happily. So that's passion
That's
for
passion.
you. You cannot, he doesn't need to do it,
Yeah.
but it's passion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's it, Rakul. You know, we forget sometimes that there's a celebrity, and there's the red carpet you, and there's the Met Galas of the world, but there is the actor, and the actor has to sustain him or herself. Otherwise, none of that will follow, right?
I agree.
So that acting. We all hear of actors going to the gym, learning horse riding, this and that and the other to be an actor. But what about the acting? You know, where does that come from? Do you sometimes take workshops? Do you sometimes, just go deep into yourself, introspect? What do you do for that?
So different roles require different kind of prep. There are films that you take workshops for, like there's a thriller that I'm working on right now that I took workshop for because I wanted to unlearn everything and have like a blank slate. There are films if you have an emotional angle, which you'll see in this thriller, that you really need to delve deep, So there are tricks and tools, but I truly believe that acting is not something that anyone can teach you. Of course, when you do acting classes, you shed your inhibitions and you do not have fear. But I think it comes from within, and it has to come from within. So the art of believing that you are that person and truly digging deep into how you would feel when you're in that situation is what makes you better day by day. And that's why you can never know it all.
Yeah.
The more experiences you have in life, the more heartbreaks you have in life, the more like whatever sort of experience, I think that's what you use and perform. And of course you learn the other skills as a requirement for the film. So yeah.
Have you had heartbreaks?
We all have, haven't we?
Yeah, but we don't like to talk about them.
Not at all. I think they're for the better though.
Yeah.
I think they're for the better for everyone. Yeah, everyone who's sitting here. So now whenever my younger kids or younger brother or cousins, I'm like, guys, 2 years later you'll thank yourself.
That you didn't go
thank
there.
God. No, because unless you really have experienced every extreme emotion, you do not become more sound of who you are.
Yeah.
You can't find yourself, I feel, and you'll never value yourself. So it's very important to have every sort of experience in life.
So your parents must be quite proud of this creature who has come from them. A very confident young woman who is not afraid to speak her mind. What do they feel about you now?
I should call and ask, Dad, this is what I've been asked. What do you think? I'll also hear some praises. No, my parents don't get affected by who I am, honestly. They still think, which is really funny, they still think that I'm a little kid. And sometimes I have to tell them, Dad, I know this. You forget I've been out of the house for 10 years.
Yeah.
Because I speak to my parents daily. It's a morning routine. I wake up, after I have my coffee, I have to speak to my mom, dad, and then I start my day.
See, always remember your parents.
No, it's like, I do that because that's been a routine ever since I left home, and it is still a routine. So they still think whenever, my dad is asking me questions, Acha, what is that? Where are you going? Like this morning, my mom still calls me, taken off, boarded, landed. I'm like, Mom, ab board kiya to land hoga na. So, I'm still that kid at home. So I don't think they get affected, but also because they don't live with me, they don't get affected by the world that I'm in. And I also don't get affected. I'm a person who treats this like a profession. I feel I'm doing a job like any one of you all are doing, like somebody's doing a 9 to 6 job. And once they say cut on set, then I'm back to being the girl Rakul who loves a normal life. And normal friends and normal food.
Food, important.
Very important.
Yeah.
Food is life.
Questions from the audience? Please raise your hand and also identify yourself. Yeah.
Can we give him a mic?
A mic, please.
Hello, ma'am.
Hi.
My name is Asmi, ma'am. Ma'am, I'm very excited to see you here, first of all.
Thank you.
I am die-hard fan of yours.
Thank you. Don't die. Thank you.
Ma'am, you said that you are an army kid. Your father is an army or was an army. So, is it something like you for that, like your word sales on principles?
Sorry?
Like, is it something for you like that your word sales on principles? Like,
Yes.
So can you please share some of them so that we can also learn and influence?
I think sometimes, you become too disciplined and too principled that you cannot manipulate. But then that's what's, I think, I give the credit to my army upbringing that gave me the courage to be who I am and be my own person and voice my opinion. And I think, like you had mentioned earlier, that Bombay is a big bad world, but I never felt that way, because I have never had an experience where anyone has tried to make me feel small or tried to take advantage of this young girl, because I think that principle in me, like I'm like from top to bottom screaming of it, when you walk into a room, they don't think that you're weak, and I think that comes from my army upbringing, because like my younger brother jokes, ऐसे लगता है थप्पड़ मार दो किसी को कोई कुछ बोलेगा तो, so
But that's important.
yeah, so I think
When
that
you walk
comes,
into a room, you own it.
you own it, and
Yeah.
that to me comes from the fact that my dad was from the army. I think it's a very different culture, so I think that principle, valuing yourself, having your set of ideas so correct, like there are people who obviously initially said, and I'll say this very honestly, there are cameras here, obviously there are people who tell you, compromise के बिना आप industry में crack नहीं कर सकते. A lot of people will give you this gyan. Trust me, like I said, not one person has spoken to me in a demeaning way. Yes, it will take you longer. It is not going to happen overnight. But I never wanted it to happen overnight, because the journey itself is beautiful. You grow in the journey. So you just keep believing in yourself, follow your discipline and your principles. And yeah, that's how it helped me.
Well said.
Yeah, this guy, हाँ.
नमस्कार मैम, मेरा नाम राघवेंद्र प्रताप सिंह है और मैं कुछ सवाल पूछने से पहले आपको ये बता देना चाहूँगा, आज मेरा बर्थडे है.
Happy birthday, happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
Can we all say happy birthday for him?
Smart.
थैंक यू सो मच मैम, ये अब तक का मेरा सबसे अच्छा एक्सपीरियंस होगा और सबसे अच्छा गिफ्ट होगा.
Thank you.
तो मेरा आपसे ये सवाल है कि जैसे
लिख के
कि
लाए हैं सवाल ये.
हाँ मैम, मैंने अभी लिखा है.
अच्छा.
तो मैम मेरा ये सवाल है कि जैसे कोविड के बाद से हम देखते आ रहे हैं लगातार एक डिबेट छिड़ी हुई है, थिएटर वर्सेस ओटीटी. अगर मैं आपकी बात करूं कि आपकी खुद की जो मूवी है वो कठपुतली हाईएस्ट वॉच रही है और लास्ट रिलीज आपकी छतरी वाली ओटीटी पर रिलीज हुई है, तो अगर ये ट्रेंड लगातार जारी रहा तो क्या आप मानती हैं ओटीटी बिग स्क्रीन की जगह ले लेगी?
ऐसा कभी नहीं होगा, बिकॉज जैसे पहले ब्लैक एंड वाइट टीवी होता था, फिर कलर टीवी आया, पहले दूसरे फोन्स होते थे, फिर दूसरे फोन्स आए, टेक्नोलॉजी बदलती रहेगी. लेकिन हम अडेप्ट कर जाते हैं. ओटीटी के लिए कुछ फिल्में रहेंगी और थिएटर्स के लिए कुछ फिल्में रहेंगी. ये एक नया ट्रेंड है जो इंडस्ट्री भी समझने की कोशिश कर रही है. बट आई फील ओटीटी एक ऐसी स्पेस है जिसमें अब आप, जैसे पठान ने जो नंबर्स किए, अब आप उस तरह की फिल्म तो ओटीटी पे नहीं देखना चाहेंगे. आप वो एक्शन, स्केल, लोकेशंस, तो कुछ चीज़ों का मैजिक जो है वो सिनेमा में रहेगा. और जो एक कम्युनिटी वॉचिंग का मज़ा होता है, जैसे भूल भुलैया ने जो नंबर्स किए या गंगूबाई ने जो नंबर्स किए, आप लोगों के साथ, दोस्तों के साथ जाके वो फिल्में देखना चाहते हैं, तो बिग स्क्रीन का मैजिक वो रहेगा. और जो इंफॉर्मेटिव फिल्म्स होती हैं या लॉन्ग मीडियम फॉर्मेट होता है या थ्रिलर फॉर्मेट होता है, शायद वो ओटीटी के लिए रहेगा. और ये टाइम हमें बताएगा. बट आई थिंक बोथ द प्लेसेस हैव देयर एडवांटेजेस, क्योंकि जो रीच आपको ओटीटी से मिलती है वो एक अर्बन सेक्टर में भी मिलती है. लोग कभी भी अपने कंफर्ट पे देख सकते हैं. जिस तरह से मेरी फिल्म छतरी वाली थी, वो एक टैबू रिलेटेड सब्जेक्ट है, तो इट्स बेटर कि वो एक ओटीटी मीडियम पे आए, क्योंकि लोगों को ये डर नहीं होता. वो कहते हैं हम अकेले देख लेंगे, और फिर अकेले देख के लगता है अच्छा इसमें तो कुछ था नहीं, ये तो हम फैमिली के साथ देख सकते हैं, एज अपोज टू थिएटर जहाँ उन्हें लगेगा कि मे बी वी कांट वॉच इट विद द फैमिली. सो आई फील बोथ मीडियम्स विल एग्जिस्ट. इट्स जस्ट अ मैटर ऑफ टाइम जब तक हम फिगर आउट कर रहे हैं कि क्या चीज़ कहाँ रहेगी.
गुड आफ्टरनून मैम.
गुड आफ्टरनून.
मैं राज जामरे हूँ. तो मेरा आपसे सवाल यह है कि आपने जो अपनी डेब्यू फिल्म की थी वो कन्नड़ा में की थी,
जी.
उसके बाद हिंदी, फिर तेलुगु, फिर तमिल, इन सब भाषाओं में आपने फिल्म की. तो जब आप अलग अलग भाषाओं में फिल्म करते हो तो आपको लैंग्वेज में कोई प्रॉब्लम होती है, या आप उस प्रॉब्लम को कैसे सॉल्व करते हो?
रट्टा मार के.
मतलब लैंग्वेज सीखनी पड़ती है?
लैंग्वेज तो रट्टा मारा शुरू में।
अच्छा, और
सीखनी तो मतलब एक फिल्म से तो कोई लैंग्वेज नहीं आती। तो आई रिमेम्बर जब मैं पहली फिल्म के लिए जो मैंने बताया था कॉलेज में की थी, वो कन्नड़ा फिल्म थी, और मैं सेट पे पहले दिन पहुंची और मुझे वो डायलॉग्स मिले, तो मैं रट्टा मारने में अच्छी थी। तो मेरे 10th बोर्ड्स में 100 आए थे सोशल साइंस में, तो रट्टा मार के आए थे। या आई थॉट मार्क्स देना भूल गए, आउट ऑफ लिखा है। So I was very good at cramming up. So I used to just cram up my dialogues. एंड वो लर्न होने के बाद फिर मैं उनसे पूछती थी, अच्छा मुझे इस वर्ड का मतलब बताओ, इस वर्ड का मतलब, एंड आई वुड अंडरस्टैंड, अच्छा यहाँ पे मैं ये बोल रही हूँ ना कि तुम कैसे हो, तो तुम ये है कैसे हो, एंड देन थिंक इन हिंदी एंड एक्ट इन दैट लैंग्वेज. सो इट वॉज अ टेक्निक दैट आई फॉलोड. बट जब तेलुगु में मैंने सबसे ज़्यादा फिल्में की, तो 3-4 फिल्मों के बाद फिर मुझे कॉन्वर्सेशनल आने लगी, और फिर धीरे धीरे 2 साल में मैं बात करने लगी. सो ज़्यादा फिल्में हुई तो फिर लैंग्वेज सीख ली. हाय. अच्छा उसके बाद इनको दे देना.
नमस्ते मैम. नमस्ते मैम.
बहुत समय से.
हाँ, namaste ma'am. First of all, getting this was a struggle, so thank you, Kana. Also, welcome to Chandigarh University,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
My name is Shreya Mishra, and I'm a student of journalism and mass communication.
Lovely.
First of all, you look so fine, especially your heels. So I'm probably going to go back home and go window shopping. Second of all, my question to you is that we often see actors, female actors for that matter, who get married and who probably work less or don't work after getting married, or getting a child or being like a mother. So is it because of their own will that they don't want to work in, or is it because they get less opportunities after getting married?
I think earlier it was about opportunities back in the 90s, or but today we're not in that day and age, and I do not believe why should a woman have to give up on her dreams and her identity because she also has to manage a family life. So I think it's really unfair for people to create less opportunities for that reason. And I think Alia Bhatt is a beautiful example. Look at Alia, look at Anushka Sharma. Kiara's married today. I mean, it's not that their stardoms come down in any which way. And if you look at the West, Gal Gadot did Wonder Woman when she was 5 months pregnant. And she has 3 kids, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't think it's a matter today. It's a problem today, and it's good that it's not. Hi.
I'm basically from Shimla, so I came all the way here for this.
Oh, you came for today?
Not for today, but
For this. Okay, lovely.
Hi, I had a question. Like you've been in so many interviews, right? So what's the one question that you wish that people just asked you?
They asked me.
The one question that you wish that people would ask you. Nice.
It's a very good question, yeah? Very, very good question. I don't know, I've never thought of it. I always think, please don't ask me this question.
What is that?
That question is, how are you feeling? Your film is releasing, how are you feeling? बहुत ही बुरा लग रहा है मुझे.
कैसे लगा?
हाँ, मतलब अच्छा एक्सपीरियंस कैसा था? पूरी टीम बैठी है, अच्छा नहीं भी होगा तो कोई थोड़ी बोलेगा. मतलब it's like I hate those questions.
Because you don't show us the films in advance now, so we have to ask you silly questions like this. Journalists coming for.
Oh, I forgot. I'm sitting next to a journalist.
Yes. So.
Ouch.
मैम यहाँ पे सभी पत्रकार हैं मोस्टली. तो नमस्कार.
नहीं उनका आंसर तो दे दो यार. बड़ी जल्दी है. So मैं सोच रही हूँ यार, अभी रेडी नहीं था ये आंसर. I think if somebody would ask about the hard work that goes behind working, I think that, because a lot of interviews just finish on the superficial, they touch the, like she very nicely mentioned, that the glamour side of the industry, and everybody who's not in the industry only sees that on Instagram. But if someone truly asks you what time you wake up, like I've slept 3 hours last night and taken a 6 a.m. flight and come here because we were at awards, and by the time they got over it was 12 and I had to wake up at 4. So truly if someone gets into the hard work, they will value every actor and not create hate or just say whatever comes to their mind just because you're public figures. So I feel if we start showing the work that goes behind putting out what we put every single day, I think that would really be nice.
Very well said, and very good question.
Very good question.
नमस्ते मैम. मेरा नाम अभय सिंह राजपूत है और मैं जर्नलिज्म का स्टूडेंट हूँ. और सर्वप्रथम मैम आपको सलाम है कि आप एक आम फौजी परिवार से निकल करके इस मुकाम तक पहुंचती हैं।
Thank you.
उसके लिए आपको सलाम है। उसके साथ साथ मेरा सवाल इस प्रकार से कि आपने साउथ इंडियन पिक्चर्स में भी काम किया, आपने बॉलीवुड में भी काम किया। आजकल की सबसे बड़ी बहस चल रही है साउथ इंडिया वर्सेस बॉलीवुड, साउथ इंडियन मूवीज वर्सेस बॉलीवुड। तो उसमें मैम आप किस तरीके से देखती हैं, क्योंकि बॉलीवुड वो बॉलीवुड है जहां पास में शंकर जी को एलियन से भागते दिखाया जाता है, और साउथ इंडिया वो है जहां पास में RRR में राम जी का वो अवतार दिखाया जाता है जिसे पूरा देश सराहता है। तो मैम ऐसे में बहुत बड़ी बहस छिड़ी पड़ी है, और कहीं ना कहीं आपने नेपोटिज्म, सुशांत सिंह राजपूत के बाद ये सारे सवाल उठे। तो मैम इन सारी चीजों पे आपका क्या स्टैंड है, क्योंकि पहले तो बॉलीवुड कहता था कि वो साउथ इंडियन एक्टर्स हैं, अब कहते हैं कि हम इंडियन एक्टर्स हैं, हम साउथ इंडियन नॉर्थ इंडियन नहीं है, अब हम सब इंडियन एक्टर हैं, तब जब वो हिट होने लगे। तो मैम इस पे मैम आपके क्या विचार हैं, जरा जरूर बताइएगा।
ये पक्का मीडिया वाला बनेगा, सबसे तेज, सबसे पहले सवाल पूछना है और सबसे ज्यादा मतलब आपको क्या लगता है, ठीक है? सो आई टेल यू व्हाट, पहले तो आपने जो कहा कि उन्हें लगता है कि अब वो हिट होने लगे, नहीं, वो लोग हमेशा से हिट थे। अब एक मीडियम मिल गया आपको कोविड में, जब किसी के पास कोई काम नहीं था तो OTT चैनल पे वो सारी फिल्में आने लग गई, वो रिलीजेस, नई फिल्में नहीं थी तो थिएटर जब खुले तो वो फिल्में रिलीज होने लग गई, तो एक वाइडर ऑडियंस मिल गई। जो लोग साउथ फिल्में पहले से देखते थे वो तो देखते ही थे, you know, if you go to the interiors like the BC centers, they always watch set max पे South films, but the city audiences got this opportunity to watch, and I think what happened in the pandemic is that the boundaries sort of dissolved, you know, every sort of regional cinema started getting celebrated, so they were always big in their respect. कहाँ गया वो, बैठ ही गया कि आंसर कर दो, अच्छा। So they were always big in their respect, and we were always doing what we were doing in our respect, and it is not a debate. Trust me, it is not a debate. Who is creating this debate? People like us who are asking this question are creating the debate. Audiences are not. Audiences will watch a good film. आप उन्हें RRR दिखाओगे वो देखेंगे, आप पठान दिखाओगे वो देखेंगे। You know of, tell me, how many Telugu films do you know that have worked this year? I want to like discuss this question. How many Telugu films do you know?
Yes, ma'am. Just like you said, Bollywood films are also.
नहीं, answer my question ना पहले. How many Telugu films released?
As sir said, no argument. So, but
argument नहीं कर रहे भाई, discussion. अरे it's a conversation. It's for everyone's health. So I'll tell you. The thing is, we follow a narrative. I always believe that in. हाँ जी, you were saying something.
कुछ कहने नहीं दिया जा रहा है, मेरा सवाल
नहीं, मैं बताती हूँ, सबको हेल्प करेगा. It is important for the students also to not believe that South is doing well or Bollywood is doing well. It is not about that, because they are all aspiring makers. When you say South are 4 states, right? Your KGF is from Kannada. Telugu has given you Pushpa and RRR. PS1, PS2 is from Tamil, and Malayalam is जो अभी तक कोई हिंदी में रिलीज नहीं हुई तो हमको पता नहीं. So they are 4 different industries, as different as Bombay and Punjabi industry. We cannot in North say कि सारी South चल रही हैं, उधर भी 2-2, 3-3 फिल्में ही चली हैं, जैसे हमारी भी 2-2, 3-3 फिल्में चली हैं. The bigger question here is audience का taste नेशनली चेंज हो रहा है. उधर भी छोटी फिल्में नहीं चल रही हैं जो पहले थिएटर में चलती थी, एंड दैट इज द रीजन हियर व्हेन वी आस्क अ क्वेश्चन, अच्छा खाली हिंदी नहीं चल रही है पर साउथ की फिल्में चल रही हैं? नहीं, वो ही 3-4 फिल्में जो वहाँ चली हैं, और वो ही 3-4 फिल्में जो हमारी भी उतनी चली हैं. सो व्हाट इज चेंजिंग इज, व्हाट नीड्स टू बी आस्क्ड इज प्राइसिंग ऑफ द सिनेमाज. It's very expensive for people to go in multiplexes and watch. So now they're like, OTT पे तो आ ही जाएगी, हम तब देख लेंगे, because they've gotten used to it. So that is a reason where collections are getting affected. Tastes have changed. People have gotten accustomed to OTT at home. So too many other things.
Thank you.
Hello, you make a pretty good journalist too. But it's okay. You have a better.
No, I think I love my job. I can't do anything else.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
First of all, many congratulations and respect to you where you have reached. Right.
Thank you.
So, ma'am, my question is that many students here as well that want to enter the film industry. So, as a writer, if you can tell that what is the right way because everybody is talking about good scripts.
Yeah.
But when somebody try to reach to the studios or to the producers, it's always a barricade there. You know, the initial stages that the good scripts don't reach to the higher level. So how we can do that? It will help everyone if you can answer it.
You know, like I said in the beginning, first of course you have to be in the place that is a hub of the industry. So if you want to work in Punjabi, then of course Chandigarh is great. If you want to work in Hindi, then you got to be there. And then you have to put in that effort of making those, I know there is no structure to it, but you have to make that effort of meeting the casting directors, because a lot of times casting directors are the people who are really close to the directors, you know. So if they know that you have good scripts, they can take it to the directors. Reach out to the executive producers of different films, because they know the producers, and I know that they will not give you a first meeting, but you have to be, like I said, बेशरम हो जाओ और 100 बार कॉल करो, you know. तो आपको अगर एक email ID मिल जाए तो उस पर अपना आइडिया भेज दो, या एक SMS मिल जाए, but you have to just be shameless and be at it. And of course film festivals really help.
Yes. 2-3 और सवाल तो जल्दी से पूछ लीजिए, जल्दी.
Hi ma'am. Hi. Ritika this side.
Hi Ritika.
Ritika. Ma'am, I wanted to ask you a question. What is a single message you can give to that 16-year-old Rakul Preet who was in high school? Not to us, that 16-year-old girl who had no idea where she'll go or like what she'll do with her life.
Nothing, just keep doing what you were doing. Just be as focused and free-spirited and believe in yourself, because I don't want to give that advice, because the journey was amazing. It was a journey of ups and downs, but of course got a lot of learning along with it. So I don't want to say anything. Just live your everyday struggle.
Hello ma'am, I'm
Hi.
Hasni Thaplu. And my question to you is कि आप एक बहुत ज़्यादा fine भरतनाट्यम dancer हैं. So how it helped you in your acting career?
डांसिंग में हेल्प हुई, बिकॉज हमारे देश में डांसिंग इज़ अ वेरी इम्पॉर्टेंट फैक्टर इन इंडियन फिल्म्स, बट आई थिंक लाइक दैट. एंड ऑल्सो भरतनाट्यम इज़ अ डांस फॉर्म विच इज़ वेरी एक्सप्रेसिव, सो द यूज ऑफ योर आईज एंड योर आईब्रोज एंड योर एक्सप्रेशंस, आई थिंक समवेयर सबकॉन्शियसली हेल्प्स यू इन योर एक्टिंग. हाय.
गुड इवनिंग मैम.
हाय
मैम, मैं गगन हूँ और मैं एनिमेशन डिपार्टमेंट से फर्स्ट ईयर का स्टूडेंट हूँ, और हाल ही में हमने शॉर्ट फिल्म पे काम किया था, और एज अ फर्स्ट ईयर स्टूडेंट हमारी मूवी कम से कम 6 या 7 फिल्म फेस्टिवल में सिलेक्ट हुई है.
ओह कांग्रेचुलेशंस.
आज सुबह ही हमें एक और सिलेक्शन मिली है, हमारी मूवी कांस फिल्म फेस्टिवल में भी सिलेक्ट हुई.
ओह वाओ, कांग्रेचुलेशंस, दैट्स अ ग्रेट न्यूज़.
एंड माय क्वेश्चन इज how to be perfect in everything, like you're acting, ma'am is a writer in a film field, how to set a career in a better way.
How to be, you can't be perfect in everything. Imperfections are beautiful. Firstly, you have to be perfect, try to be perfect in what your job is. So I have to try to improve my acting in every film. I know I've grown film to film, and I will try to continue to do so. You have to focus in trying to making the best film, and you're doing that. You've reached Cannes, where so many actors haven't. So just believe in yourself. Don't think how will I do it, what will happen, I don't know anybody. Don't surround yourself with any sort of negative questions or doubts. आप कांस तक पहुंच गए हो, कांस में अभी अगली बार बोलोगे हमें अभी पता चला है कि हम जीत गए हैं, ठीक है, बस फिर वहीं से शुरुआत है.
हम लास्ट क्वेश्चन कर ले. हाँ.
Yeah, this girl has also stood up many times. Last and then last.
अच्छा, last
हाँ,
and
okay.
then last. हाँ. बोलो. हाँ.
थैंक यू मैम, थैंक यू मैम. मैं ये कह रहा था, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आप बहुत ब्यूटीफुल हो मैम, आप तो डॉल जैसे दिखते हो.
थैंक यू. थैंक यू.
मैम मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि बॉलीवुड में व्हाट इज़ दिस अमाउंट सिस्टम, जैसे कि जो मेल एक्टर होता है उसको ज़्यादा फीस मिलती है और फीमेल एक्टर्स को कम फीस मिलती है, क्यों? बट फीमेल एक्टर ने भी उतना ही एफर्ट डाला होता है जितना मेल एक्टर ने डाला होता है.
ये मुझसे फिकी, I was doing a talk show, I'm saying, a conversation, a panel conversation 2 days back at Fiki, and the same question was asked, and I said, it's not just Bollywood. Unfortunately, in the world, we still have a lot of differences between men and women. Let's face that. Like she just asked a question, क्या opportunities कम हो जाती हैं if girls get married? कोई ये तो नहीं पूछता if the guy gets married क्या वो काम नहीं करेगा? So there is a social, sort of structuring that has happened, a conditioning that has happened over the years which needs to break. But coming to your answer, I don't think the pay should be, I have a very different opinion on it. I feel that the pay should not be dependent on your gender. कि आप लड़के हो तो आपको ज़्यादा या आप लड़की हो तो आपको कम. It should be dependent on the value you add to the film. How many working days are you giving? Are you a crowd puller? Are you pulling audiences to the theatre? अगर आप हीरो भी हो लेकिन कोई आपकी फिल्म देखने नहीं आ रहा है, so I don't think you should be paid the numbers that you're being paid. So it should be, there should be some sort of a calculation dependent on if you are pulling crowds to the theatre, you charge so and so money. Whether you are a girl or a boy or a character artist or a very famous cartoon character, whoever you are, you should get paid on your ability to generate that money in the theatres.
Well done. Last question.
Yes. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Hi.
Ma'am, my name is Vasundhara. I am also from an army background, so
Hi,
I was
Vasundhara.
relating to every word you were saying. Ma'am, my question is, as you are hailed as the pad woman of our country, ma'am, can you share your views and can you comment on menstrual health and hygiene? And as it's such a big taboo still to this date.
No, of course it is, and I think the bigger taboo, and I'm grateful to a film like Padman that came out where people started having these conversations. I feel that it's high time we all understand that this is something which is taught to us in our 8th standard reproductive system chapter. You know, it is taught that it is a biological way of being. Men have a certain biological, the way we breathe is the way we have our menstrual cycle. It's science and it's nothing beyond that. It's our thought that makes it a stigma and not the process itself. And I think a film like Padman, actually when we were doing our research for Chhatri Wali, a chemist told us, a medical store guy, that after that they've stopped packaging it in brown papers. Pehle se band ke dete the.
That's right.
Which is so good. And today people can have those conversations and and if someone has a problem, you should just turn around and say one thing. If we didn't have a period, this world would not exist. Yeah,
of course.
तुम कैसे पैदा हुए? ऐसे पूछना.
Thank you so much, Rakul. It was a real joy to talk to you and to listen to you. And I think everyone shares that sentiment. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
It was really lovely.
Pleasure.
By the way, how high are the heels? हाँ, बोलिए.
I am MA theater. और मुझे एक चीज़ की समझ नहीं आती कि जब जो बंदा मतलब फ्रेशर होता है तो उसको ये कहा जाता है कि आपकी लुक के हिसाब से कोई आपके लिए करैक्टर निकलेगा तो हम आपको बुला लेंगे
जी.
और जब आदमी स्टैब्लिश हो जाता है तो उसको वही लुक दे दी जाती है. ऐसा क्यों है?
ये तो आप मेकर्स से पूछो.
नहीं, फिर भी मैडम ऐसी बात नहीं है, आपके पास पूरा एक्सपीरियंस है और मैं ऐसी बात नहीं. मैं
मुझे आपका सवाल नहीं समझ आया. जब आप नए होते हो तो
मतलब ऐसा नहीं, जो आदमी फ्रेशर होता है, अब जैसे मैं MA थिएटर में मैं स्ट्रगल कर रहा हूँ तो उसको ये कहा जाता है कि आपकी लुक के हिसाब से कोई भी आपके लिए कोई करैक्टर निकलेगा तो हम आपको बुला लेंगे. मतलब एक तरह का वो उसको टरका दिया जाता है.
हाँ, टरकाया जाता है.
और जब एस्टैब्लिश हो जाता है वही आर्टिस्ट तो उसको वही उसी लुक के हिसाब से जो भी करैक्टर निकलता है तो वही लुक दे दी जाती है. तो ऐसा क्यों है? मुझे आज तक ये चीज़ नहीं समझ.
सक्सेस काफ़ी लोगों को आपका दोस्त बना देता है एंड आई थिंक बस वही होता है और कुछ नहीं होता है. बट येस, आई थिंक व्हाट ही इज ट्राइंग टू से इज कि और ये होता है. ये जब मैंने 2 फिल्में कर ली जिसमें मैं स्मॉल टाउन थी तो उनको लगा अरे इसको हम सिटी कैसे दिखाएंगे. कोई सिटी जैसी दिखेगी तो उसको सिटी में डाल लेंगे. सो मेरा पॉइंट है अगर मुझे मैं ही प्ले करना है तो फिर मैं एक्टिंग थोड़ी कर रही हूँ. सो वो एक प्रॉब्लम है. But I think that will change with newer visions and newer makers and younger, thoughts and ideas where people want to experiment and create new looks and you know, like which is happening today. I mean, you see actors coming in different kinds of looks, जिसमें उनकी looks change की जाती हैं. So I think, yeah, that's with the different kind of makers that will change.
Thank you. By the way, Rakul, how high are the heels?
I don't know, yeah, why my stylist gave me some 5-inch.
I know how you guys
But these
do.
are very comfortable. These
Really?
are block.
Okay. But thank you all again. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think,
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure, guys. Thank you.
thank you. Otherwise, we'll be here all night.
So well, ladies and gentlemen, can we hear a better and a bigger round of applause for Rakul Preet Singh? Thank you so much, Rakul, for being here. Thank you so much, Kaveri ma'am. I think we all enjoyed. And जिनकी supplies आई हैं, supplementaries आई हैं, I think Rakul ने एक बहुत अच्छी बात बताई हमें, रट्टा मारते रहो, so supplies नहीं आएंगी, which is a take back for a lot of students here. So we'll make now request Dr. Trishu, Mr. Ankit Mahajan, Anjana Sharma ji and Vishal Sharma ji to please join us on stage for a token of appreciation on behalf of the festival. Dr. Fakir, please join us on stage.
कावेरी मैम का ले आओ, कावेरी मैम का. Kaveri ma'am, please join us.
Can I request Rajesh Sharma ji to also join us for the group picture on the stage? Festival director. While we are doing this, I would request Chandigarh Music and Film Festival team to be please line up downstairs so that we can have a group picture. Can we have everyone here? And may I request Kaveri ma'am, Rajesh Sharma sir to please.
Thank you.
Can we make a better view, Rakul? Can our team have a group picture with you? Yeah. So can we have a better view, please? थोड़ा दूर से ले लीजिए, ताकि we have a better view. The team here. Yeah. Thank you so much. You are here, Sanchi.